Hey guys, it's Clay on the trail. I'm going to do a little bit different video today. It's not a hike or a backpack or an overnight or anything like that. I want to talk a little bit about my charging, all my charging stuff that I use when I backpack, and specifically how it worked for me when I did the Highline Trail this year. So this year I have a series of backpacking trip that we did in the high Uintas on the Highline Trail. We did from Leedy Peak to the Highline Trailhead on Highway 150. It was 94-ish miles, and I have a whole series of it. If you haven't checked it out, please go back and check it all out. I learned a couple things on those trips. For one of the biggest things that helped was one of the gentlemen that went with us. His name was Rolf, and you'll see him in the video. He is an electrical engineer. What a brilliant thing to bring along with you on a hike. If you have never hiked with one before, I recommend it. They're very helpful. I took with me my Biolite cooking stove to charge my batteries, and since I was solely using it to charge my GoPro batteries, my headlamp, my phone, I was using the Gaia GPS app on my phone, so each day I kept the track of our trip. So since I was solely using it as a charging station, I left the pitcher and I just brought the burn barrel and the battery with me. I fully charged everything where we went. The first day everything went great. I was actually able to charge my batteries, and I have a 3-slot GoPro charger. It is not a GoPro brand. I actually got it when I bought these off-brand batteries. I do have 2 regular GoPro batteries. We're going to talk about them in here in just a minute. And I brought I believe it's a 10,000 milliamp charger and a 30,000 milliamp charger. Now this one has a solar panel on it. And I knew that it was not going to be real effective just for the sheer size of it when I bought it. And I didn't buy it because it had this on it. It was the same price. So I figured, what the heck, we'll give it a try. So I brought 5 GoPro batteries with my triple charger, the 2 battery banks, and my Biolite. By day 2, all of my batteries were dead, and I had nothing to charge anything with. So what happened to my battery banks? I normally can use a battery bank for this smaller one I've taken on trips and been able to charge my phone and 3 batteries for 2 or 3 days. This one being a 10,000 milliamp hour, this one being a 30,000 milliamp hour, I should have got 2 and 6. I should have got 8 days worth of charging. And with my Biolite and the ability to recharge the battery banks, it should have been infinite. Well, what happened? Lithium ion batteries and temperature do not get along, is what happened. My batteries got cold and it just kills the batteries. And I tried to charge my battery banks with my Biolite, and I fed sticks for like an hour, almost over an hour, sitting at a campfire one night. And I brought I don't remember which one it was. They have little indicators on them. Oh, you might be able to see it blank there. They have little indicator lights on them. I was able to bring it up 1 bar, 1/4 charge in an hour. Needless to say, I sat there for a really long time, and I didn't want to sit there and charge these things for the rest of my life. So I considered that a failure. All right, so back to camping with an electrical engineer. This is what I learned about GoPro batteries. These Chinese knockoffs are perfect in every way with one exception. The metal that they use on the connecting, where it connects to your battery, or to your battery to your GoPro, they don't use the same metal. And as you get huge temperature variations, the metal on these knockoffs shrink. And they don't make a connection anymore. As things heat up and get cold, they move. Metals heat and they grow and they shrink. They no longer make connections. And that's why these batteries just don't last very long. Now, how do I know this? Well, my friend Rolf actually tore these things completely apart in his lab and looked at everything under a microscope as it was working. And he discovered that that is what happens. So after all of my batteries failed, and I was, I'm a YouTube guy. I wanted to film a 10-day trip, and I was 2 days into it and completely out of everything. Rolf actually came to the rescue. He was minimally using all of his stuff, and he had brought with him it's a Goal Zero solar charger. And I have looked at solar chargers an awful lot, and to me they always, if the sun isn't shining, they don't work. They're heavy. I had 100 reasons. They're very expensive. I had a lot of reasons why I wasn't interested in having one. He loaned it to me and loaned it to me for the rest of the trip. Now granted, I got to carry it for him, and it was just over £1, the model that he had, and it was worth every pound. As soon as I had that, I started out trying to charge the battery banks with it, and that was a waste of time. Every time you put power to a battery bank, and then from the battery bank to your device, you lose a certain amount of power each time that happens. So what I learned was to plug your device directly into the solar panels. As soon as I had the solar panels, I was able to charge 6 batteries a day. That's running this triple charger twice, plus my phone, to a complete charge every single day. Some days I charged my son's phone, my daughter's phone, my wife's phone. I was able to charge other people's devices on top of all my devices with that one device. It really saved my trip. If it weren't for those solar panels, my videos would not have existed. I could not have recorded them. Okay, so I've set this Goal Zero Nomad 10 up. It's facing the sun best I can do it. I have a fluke multimeter, and let's see if we can get a reading on what this thing's putting out right now. All right, nothing ever works out great when you're trying to do things one-handed, but in pretty ideal conditions. Yes, we're outside, but this is not draped over my backpack. I'm not walking through trees. It's, fairly ideal conditions. I'm getting 5 volts charging power. Okay, as far as the test with my Biolite goes, I am using, again, this just the best scenario you would ever have for a Biolite. I have some wood that's been kept in my shop probably for 10 years. It's completely dry. I've split it, with an axe that I wouldn't have with me. Of course, you can baton wood in the wilderness, but again, you're carrying a knife and a saw to cut the wood to the right length. So this is pretty ideal conditions. I'm also starting this fire with some sawdust that's been soaked in used motor oil. It's what I use in my home, and it's going to work here too. So let's get this fire going. Okay, so I started this fire approximately 2 minutes ago, and the fan just kicked on. I'm going to increase it and get this burn going. I've got Just the most absolute dry wood you could possibly ever ask for, ready to go. At it, I always, I've learned in a Biolite, if you stack the wood vertical, it burns way better. And if you can take a log that's just barely smaller than the inside of the burn pot and quarter it, or even eighth it, cut it into eighths, and get the fire to burn in between it, it lasts way longer and it's way more effective. So we'll see what kind of reading we get out of this. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is not a result that I expected, because I'm also getting 5 volts. Now this is just barely started, because this does not reflect the actual results I got out in the field. All right, I came in the house for a minute. The next part of this test that is important would be putting this on a scale. So starting with my Goal Zero Nomad 2, it is 1 pound, 2.4 ounces. And I'm sorry, it's a Nomad 10. 1 pound, 2.4 ounces. Okay, my Biolite as a whole, with the pitcher, the burn barrel, and the battery fan charging port, all the bags and everything it comes in. Yeah, check that out. Comes in at 3 pounds, 10.6 ounces. Alright, keeping everything fair, when I did the Highline trail, I carried just the burn chamber and the charging station. So it comes in at 2 pounds, 2.7 ounces. So we're getting the same amount of output for twice the weight, just comparing the 2 charging stations. When you turn this into a stove, it's 3 times the weight. You get another use out of it. But what I've basically shaken this down to is, I gave this completely ideal conditions outside. And as soon as I was done filming, my fire went out. And that's the problem I've always had with my Biolite. With the pot on it, it's really hard to feed sticks into it. When the pot's not on it, you can feed sticks to it, but it's just really hard to keep it going. I gave it ideal conditions. Dead wood, dry wood, stuff that has been dried for years. I actually did a remodel and I took this off the wall in someone's house, so it's been dried for years, 20, 30 years. Kiln dried pine. And I still can't keep the fire going in this. Now I love my Biolite. I don't want to talk trash about it because it has its place. But not as a backcountry backpacking charging station for me anymore. Another thing that I considered, or you should consider when you're trying to decide what to go with, the Biolite setup that I have, just the Camp Stove 2, runs at $149.99, and these are today's prices. It's October 30th of 2020 on Amazon. Now the setup I have came with the grill to do burgers and stuff, and it's about $250. You're getting a lot more use out of it than just charging electricity though. The Goal Zero Nomad 10 that I have comes in at $99, like $96, so basically $100. So $50 cheaper, lighter, and has been for me more efficient. All right, guys, so I've actually been sitting here in my yard for a minute. I've put all my stuff away and I've been processing the results of the multimeter test. The fact that they both gave out 5 amps is just, it blows me away that I got that out of my Biolite. I would have thought that it would have given me 2.5, something like that. But the results don't lie. But as I've sat here and I guess processed it, the conclusion I came to is that I was charging the batteries while I was backpacking, while I was hiking, while I was walking and moving with it draped over my backpack. 3-4 hours. And if I would have sat and fed my Biolite for 3 or 4 hours, I mean, I guess I would have got the same results. But in that 3 or 4 hours, I set up my camp, I went fishing, made my dinner. You know, I just did a number of different things. Actually, I was a little astonished at the results. So what's my overall conclusion from all this? Well, the day I got home from the Highline trip, I got in, I showered, I cleaned up, I got online, and I ordered a set of solar panels. They will be with me on not all my trips, but anything that I need to charge stuff, they will be part of my trip. Conclusion, do I hate my Biolite? No, I love my Biolite. It's awesome. It has its total place. It's finicky, but once you figure it out, it's actually a really cool, I don't know, invention, charging device, stove. I have camped full camp trips with it. I love it. Heavy? Yes, it's heavy. It's over 3 pounds. And output? I mean, I guess it puts out the same as the solar chargers, and I would not have expected that. I didn't see that coming. If you have 4 hours to sit down and charge your stuff, it's very effective. You can't just set it on the ground and walk away from it. And in all fairness, with the solar panel, you can't either. Each 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever. And as we fished along the trail, I would set my chargers up, and every 15, 20 minutes, you have to go rotate them a little bit and align it back up with the sun. You can go away again. Not with your Biolite. You'll be feeding that sticks for 3 or 4 hours, and that is all you really can focus on, because if it goes out, they take a long time to get started again. So I guess I'm sold on my new solar panels. They are definitely going to be part of my trip. Yes, they weigh a pound. They are not light, but they do. They saved my trip, and they will be on the next one. All right, so back to camping with an electrical engineer. This is what I learned about GoPro batteries. These Chinese knockoffs are perfect in every way with one exception. The metal that they use on the connecting, where it connects to your battery, or to your battery to your GoPro, they don't use the same metal. And as you get huge temperature variations, the metal on these knockoffs shrink, and they don't make a connection anymore. As things heat up and get cold, they move. Metals heat and they grow and they shrink. They no longer make connections, and that's why these batteries just don't last very long. Now, how do I know this? Well, my friend Rolf actually tore these things completely apart in his lab and looked at everything under a microscope as it was working. And he discovered that that is what happens. So, GoPro batteries, you get one for the price of 3 of the knockoffs. So is the trade-off worth it? I'm cat sitting, by the way. That's not my cat, but she sure is pesty. Oh, is it worth it? I don't know the answer to that. You have to answer that for yourself. Was it worth it to me? No, it's not. From now on, I will be buying only GoPro brand batteries. When I do skiing or winter camping or crap any day in the Uintas, it can get close to freezing. These knockoffs just don't last. The GoPro batteries last 4 to 5 times longer than the knockoffs for me. I can't speak for everybody else. My final disclaimer for this: I am not an electrician. I am not an electrical engineer. I know just enough to be dangerous about a whole bunch of things. Electricity is probably one of them. I'm not even smart enough to tell you how many amps are coming out of my multimeter. So, if I missed something or you know something I didn't, please comment below. Help me out. I'm not trying to lead people astray. I am just basing this off of my experience on a 10-day trip. So thank you for watching. Thank you for coming along. Please comment. Please give me a thumbs up. My channel is growing, and I appreciate every single person that clicks the thumbs up button, everybody that's subscribed, everybody that takes the time to watch it. Share, comment. Thanks for coming.